What's going on? This is your man John Fortune, your host of the Frustrated Fan Sports Show. And today, we got to talk about it. I mean, everybody's out. I mean, hell, it seemed like the injury wizard was sitting up there acting like Oprah. You got an injury, you got an injury, you got an injury, you got an injury. Washington Commanders are going to face the Atlanta Falcons. Even though Atlanta came off of a huge, massive loss last week to the Carolina Panthers, I always tell people to not take too much stock in losses like that, especially ones that are divisional losses. Sometimes when teams face divisional opponents, sometimes there's this lackadaisical approach sometimes when they think that the divisional opponent is bad, even though they realize that these divisional people have seen them over the years. So with that being said, what we saw against Carolina with Atlanta, I don't take a lot of stock into that because, again, divisional games operate a little differently. But with that being said, with all the injuries that are now cropping up on the Commanders and so early in the season, we're going to have to see if this team can make a late run. Mariota will be the quarterback. It was announced that Jaden is out, Terry McLaurin is out, John Bates is out. And we still don't know what the status or situation is with Brendan Coleman. So we still don't know what's going on there. So there's no telling if he will be out or a healthy scratch as well. So, and Bill is now dealing with some type of injury as well. So currently right now we're looking like the MASH unit. It looks like we are going through a ton of stuff when it comes to what's happening on this team injury-wise. The Terry injury. Being as though they're not really certain what it is, I'm not going to speculate. But what I will say is there's a lot of talk about the fact that, it was because Terry wasn't in camp and all this type of stuff. There's a lot of I don't know how everybody else is feeling right now, but I'm feeling like our local reporters has a lot of Terry hate going on. And to me, it comes off as though they're doing exactly what I don't like that's happening in our own political media, where it's like the wealthiest of people or the people at the top are dictating what is said in the local media. And currently what's happening is that we're getting a lot of this Terry hate for no apparent reason at all by our local sports reporters. And that's just like the most odd thing I've ever seen, especially when you're talking about how they were acting when Dan Snyder was the owner and Ron Rivera was here, and they couldn't get interviews and they didn't have inside people in Ashburn and all this type of stuff. Now all of a sudden they got these things. They get to have their little interviews with like Dan Quinn and all that on their podcasts and on their shows. Now all of a sudden it's all this glizzy glazing that's going on, and somehow, some way, Terry McLaurin is somehow being treated like he's this bad guy in this city by our own local media, especially one who still glazes Kirk Cousins glizzy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, come on now, y'all. Y'all need to back off. Because at some point, you're talking down about the guy who's our superstar. It's one of our superstars. Because in reality, when you really think about it, we only have two. So the fact that we have just these two, we need to appreciate the fact that we actually have them. So with that being said, Terry didn't get injured because he wasn't at OTAs and he wasn't at training camp. Injuries just happen. I mean, he got a quad, so did Dietrich Wise. Dietrich Wise was at camp the whole time. Why did he get an injury? John Bates was at camp the whole time. Why did he not get it? Why didn't he not get injured? You know, injuries just happen. That's a part of football. Those type of things happen. It has nothing to do with somebody not being there doing training camp. It just happens that way. And I'm sorry I had to go on this tangent so early on in the video because of the fact that I don't like the way our own sports media is sitting up there acting like Terry McLaurin is somehow the bad guy in all of this. You know, and he's not. He sat up there and guess what? This very thing is why he wanted the money that he wanted. So he could actually feel secure in himself and in his family so he doesn't have to worry about this. Because injuries happen in football. That's just what happens. So I need everybody to back off of Terry because him not being in training camp ain't got nothing to do with the injury that he got. Not a thing. Football, you get injured. That's what it is. Now, let me go to the Atlanta Falcons. Like I said again, the loss that they had against the Carolina Panthers, that's a divisional loss. Those things don't matter. They don't count. And like I said again, there's a lot of times when we will see a good example is the Giants going touchdown for touchdown against the Cowboys. You know, these divisional games are anomaly games. Those type of things just happen. So it's a little different when you lose a divisional game versus losing a non-divisional game. So with that being said, I do feel that Washington is going to struggle in this game. And even though we've been doing very well against the run, we've done very well against the run. This running back group or pairing is a little bit different than what we've seen so far. Like when you talk about what we've seen so far in comparison to what we're getting ready to see, this is a different running back pairing. This is a pair that can actually do some massive damage to the point at where both rushers can end up with 100 yards in the game. That's how dangerous this pair really is as a running core. So with that, we have to understand that the defense and the toughness that we've been showing in these games lately against the run, it needs to be double that. Because this is not the pair to play around with. This is not the pair to lose assignments. Not tackle and wrap up when you tackle. This is not the pair to do that with. Another thing, we need our cornerbacks on point. Again, this is a copycat league. One thing about Michael Penix can get hot and he can stay hot. He can also have a hiccup game, but 9 times out of 10, when he comes back big and he comes back bigger than ever. He becomes a massive problem. And it's so crazy how people talk about Michael Penix at this point right now. Like it's just not his first game where he's had a bad outcome or he had a bad outing. Nobody talks about anybody else when they have a bad outing. It's just that, oh, he had a bad day. But now with Michael Penix, it's like, well, you know, if he keeps playing like this, then we might have to go back to Kirk Cousins. And it's like, yo, like, let the man fail playing quarterback as well. Like, they're not going to have good days every single time. Look at what happened to Lamar Jackson. 7 sacks in a game. You think Baltimore is sitting up there getting ready to bench him? No, they're not going to do that. What about Patrick Mahomes? Patrick Mahomes hasn't looked the sharpest in the 3 games that they done had. So, again, chill on Michael Penix. He's another one to chill on. So, this is a game where Washington, if they go in there sleeping, they will have problems. Defensively, I don't think that they're missing a lot on defense this game. But again, it's a game that can get out of hand and get out of hand very quickly if we don't play well or if they don't play well. We'll see what the addition of Darnell Savage is when he comes into the lineup, if he comes into the lineup. Again, I don't know why I'm not working in anybody's front office. But I'm going to tell y'all like this. I was the one. I said the guys that needed to come here, they're all practically here. Dietrich Wise was the guy I said make at the trade deadline. He's here. Marshawn Lattimore, here. Again, he hasn't played awfully except for that Green Bay game. But, again, he's still playing pretty decently. And now Darnell Savage, who I said Washington should have brought in free agency, and now they got their opportunity to bring him in, have him play beside Quan Martin, which will probably be very good for him. Not only that, it'll probably help Quan a little bit better because now what you'll have is two guys who can flip-flop from being the center fielder when it comes to passing plays and stuff. So that will be great when it comes to that. This is a game that's going to be hard. I mean, here's another tight end in Kyle Pitts that can be very dangerous himself. We lucked up and got past Brock Bowers, was destroyed by Kraft. We was destroyed by Kraft, squeaked through by Brock Bowers, and now here's Kyle Pitts, another one. So this is a guy who can end up in a situation where he can end up with 100 and something yards receiving and probably 10 or 15 catches himself. So, and Michael Penix looks for him. Like, Michael Penix has no problem looking for Kyle Pitts. Should it be as a wide receiver out jumping people or coming across the middle? It doesn't matter. Michael Penix will look for him. Not certain if Drake London is on the injury report for Atlanta, but I do know that A.J. Terrell is out, which is crazy that their top corner is out when our top receiver is out. So this may actually be a Debo-led game. Hopefully what they can do is probably get Debo away from the running things. Because like I said, last week we saw him gassed a lot because they were asking him to do so much. And we need him to be effective when it comes to running routes and stuff like that. So we might see Debo more as a receiver this game versus the utility player that we've seen in the past several games that we've seen him play so far. But this will be the game where Debo will have a big chance. There will be big opportunities that are coming into play when it comes to this thing. There's things that's going to happen in this game that is going to be huge. And if they don't get it together or they don't play together or they don't communicate, this could be a disaster. We could be on the opposite end of a 30-0 score. Like, that could happen to us if we don't play well and we don't make an effort of trying to close this team out when we need to. Marcus Mariota, we need him to not make any stupid plays, not make any dumb decisions. Like if he gets a big run, get your butt down. Don't try to leapfrog people or hurdle guys because it doesn't make any sense to do that. No fumbles. We cannot fumble in this game. We cannot turn the ball over in this game. This game is a big game. And defensively, Atlanta is a very solid defensive team. This can be disastrous for the Commanders if we sit up there and play around and make jokes of what's going on. So with that being said, this is a hard game to really understand what's going on. With the injuries that we have mounting, and we're talking about possibly not having Bill in the backfield today, Terry being out, John Bates is out, Jaden is out. We might have to see Marcus Mariota really do his top level audition to be like the guy when it comes to coming in and really submitting games. I'm feeling uncomfortable about this game. I really am. I wish I was feeling a little bit more comfortable about this game, but I really am feeling uncomfortable about this game. And I hate giving 2 scores because it makes me feel like I'm sitting on the fence. So with that being said, I think we're going to struggle against Atlanta. I think that this is a get-back game for them. This is a game that really means something more to them. I think it will mean something to us, but they'll find a way to smother Debo and try to force other receivers into beating them. I don't think that our other receivers are up to snuff to being able to beat the coverage of the Atlanta. So for that, I got us going down, the good guys going down, 35-14. I'm sorry, y'all. It's hard for me to not feel that way, especially when we got such big key components out of the game. So that's where I'm going at. Y'all tell me what y'all think. How do y'all feel about this? Do y'all feel that we can actually win this game? Are y'all going against what I think that we might be on the opposite end of a bad outcome? Y'all let me know down in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe. Other than that, this has been your man, John Fortune, and it's been the Frustrated Fan Sports Show.